Hello everyone, Alex here from alexlancer.com, and in this tutorial, as I promised at the end of the previous one, we will cover the relational data. So how we can show the data from another table inside of our form. So for example, we had our project form and here we have our user ID. So of course we don't want to change the user ID itself, but rather we would like to see here the drop-down list of all the users that we have. So let's get started by going to the GitHub repository that I have prepared. So search Alex Lancer GitHub. Let's go inside here, find the helper files. So let's go to repositories. So this is CodeIgniter CRUD library tutorial files. So I have uploaded the part 3 for our tutorial, and let's download it. Click download button, and now that we have it, let's go to our downloads, extract, and let's go inside of this folder. So keep this folder open, we will need it. And sure, let's start by, first of all, by changing the projects.php controller. Okay, so I have prepared some lines of code there that are not essential for this part that we have already covered. So to save us some time, let's go to our project. Let me open the projects.php that we have downloaded. I will grab everything. So basically, what I've done here is I have predefined some information for our basic fields, such as labels and the required statements, the required rules, sorry. So I think actually this, although it will work, but I need it to be Boolean, so let's rename this to true. And now let's copy everything, select all and copy it, and let's go to the projects.php file within our project directory. So this will replace everything that you have inside, so be aware of that. And let's save it. So let's go to our edit project page. Let's refresh it, and what you will see is that title, price, starts at, ends at, status, everything now have a label. So one thing I would like to adjust here is the end date and the start date. I would like to be on the same line. So to do that, to adjust the order of the inputs, we have to do it through PHPMyAdmin. So depending on the order of your columns, depends on which order your columns have inside your database, the same order will be followed inside the form. So let's go to PHPMyAdmin, and I will bring the price under the ends at date. Yeah. So I go to my projects database, projects table, sorry. So let's go to structure, move tables, move columns, and let's bring the price under the end date. Okay, like that. So click OK. Let's refresh, and this looks better. So I like the price of this project. It would be nice to get such project, but let's not worry about the price now, and let's take care about the user ID. So how can we add a relation of this ID to our users table? So let's go to our project controller, and in the field options, I did not specify yet the user ID column options. So I did it on purpose so that we can do it together. So let's go fields. The order of the options and of the fields that you specify inside of field options does not really matter. So you can either put it at the bottom or at the top. Everything still, the order of the form still will be the same. As I said, it is defined by the order of columns in your PHP-MyAdmin, in your MySQL database. So let's say, what do we have? P user ID. This is the field from our database that is the user's ID defined for the specific project. And let's say, first of all, let's create a label. So we have our label that will be user. Now let's say that, is it required? A required field? Yes, of course. Required. True. Okay. So now, actually, I will bring it down like that. It will be more easy to read because we will add some fields here, some options here. And now let's start by defining the type. So we want this to be a drop-down. Okay. And now, if we want to define a relation to another table, we will add a key of relation. So the key of relation will accept another array with some extra options here. So let's see what are these options. So first of all, is we have to define the table that we want to relate to. And this table will be, of course, the users table, because this is the table that we want to get the information from. So we have users. Now we have to define also the primary key of that table. So primary key is UID. So if you are confused, we are saying that we want to create a relation to this users table, and the primary key of the users table is UID. So let's go back to our project controller and say now that, okay, well, we have defined our primary key, and now let's define how we want this data to be displayed. So we say display. By display we mean, instead of our user ID, the actual number, what do we want to see on our front end? So we create an array and we specify the table, the columns from the users table that we want to show up. So let's say first name. Okay, so let's see so far if this works. There are other options. I don't remember if I have specified them as a mandatory options. So let me refresh. Yeah. So we had to create an order by. We have to specify the order. So order by equals, let's say user first name. Of course, the order by should be one of the fields that we define either in our primary key or in our display key. So let's say order by user first name and order, so which way, ascending or descending. Let's say we want ascending, so it will be alphabetically sorted. Let's try now. And what do we have? Call to undefined method, get result. So actually now, oh, okay, I'm missing the get arrow here. So this is where we have to update our CRUD model with a new file that we have downloaded. So let's open this also, our folder with the downloaded files. I will close this local project file that we have. So open the CRUD model, copy everything from here, and let's replace our CRUD model. So, okay, save it. Close the file from the downloaded folder so that it does not confuse us. And let's go back here and refresh. So argument 2 passed, order by must be of the type string, null, given. So where do we have this issue? CRUD core parent form. Okay, CRUD form. So let's update also the CRUD core. I guess the error might be related to the changes that I have made. So open the CRUD core.php file from the downloaded folder, copy everything. Let's go to the CRUD core of the project, select everything and replace it with a new code. Okay, so close the local files that are from the downloaded folder. Okay, let's give it another try. Okay, so now it looks fine. So what we have done is now basically we see the first name of each user that of course as a value of each option we have the user ID defined. So if I go into inspect and I'll find the select field that we have. So the select field is here. You will see that option that Abby here has the value of 86. So in our database 86 will be stored as we want it. Of course we want the integer and the actual user's ID and not the name to be stored in the project's database table. So I will close this, and if you are asking yourself how can we add now the last name also, we can do that. So don't worry, we can go to our projects.php file again, and that's why the display accepts an array of values. So you can specify as many column names as you want here. So we will say first name and last name. And what it will do in the background in our CRUD core file, it will actually concatenate both of the values with the space in between. So let's check it. Let's refresh. And as you can see, now we have and first name and the first name and the last name displayed. So it is time to try and save something. So let's select Alberto here. Let's update and successfully update it. So Alberto is now is our user. So let me see what else do we need here. So let's go back to projects for a bit to see the whole table. So undefined property class tags. So if you get this error here, this is something that we will see in a bit. So for now I want you to go to your columns and remove the tag. So at the line 41 where you will see the columns that we defined to be shown in our table, let's remove the tags for now. We will use them a little bit later. So let's refresh this, and as you can see our user is shown as the full name, as the actual name as we defined it. So, and of course we should try and make a search. So it is not only displaying the actual name, but you can actually search by this name for your project. So the next thing that this is how we do one-to-one relation. So basically, one-to-one relation is useful when, let's say in this case, when we have a user ID assigned to another entity, for instance, for a project or for some sort of a payment. And there are other times, of course, when we want to create a completely separate database, table, so where we will store one-to-many relationships. So for example, the tags that you just saw. Let's say that we want to add tags to our project, where we will define the category, let's say, of the project. So because we are developers, of course, let's create tags table where we will store some of the PHP frameworks that we know. So you don't have to do this all manually, because we have in our download folder, that in the part 3 folder, I have prepared the tags.sql and then and the project tags.sql. So these are the two tables that I would like you to import in your PHPMyAdmin. So let's go to your database. Let's click import, choose file. Let's go downloads, part 3. And first, let's import the tags. Okay, and secondly, let's import another table that will will store all the relations between the tags table and the projects table. So if you go to the tags, you actually will find some PHP frameworks that I have defined, or other keywords. So let's say we have CodeIgniter, Laravel, CakePHP, WordPress, PHP, MySQL, Laracast. So what? And now in the project tags, we will store the project ID and the tags ID that are related to this project. So now inside of our projects, we don't have any reference of the tags. Hope that makes sense. So what we do now is, first of all, let's quickly create the tags management controller. So the CRUD for the tags itself. Let's copy our users. Let's duplicate our users controller. Let's name it tags. Rename the class name and rename the table title also. So it will be tags. Now the user, first of all, so the user with a capital U will be tag. The users, the table here that we have, and other references of the users will become tags. And do we have another user here inside? Control find user. No. Okay, so let's go quickly to the index method of the tags controller in the columns, and let's change this t_id, tname, and basically that's it. We don't need nothing else for the table of our tags. So inside the order, let's change the order to tname and not the ID. So we will have an alphabetical order here. And let's go now to the very bottom. There will be no relations actually. And we have t_id, that will be labeled ID, that's okay. And t_name, that will be the label name, required of course. Helper and class we don't need, I guess, so we can leave it like that. So now what we have to do, we have to copy also our views. so that tags have their own view files in case we want to change them later. So let me check this and this. Yeah, so you can either copy the users folder from inside your views folder, either the projects folder. They're both the same. So let's say tags. Okay, so I have duplicated the folder. Now we have end form and the table view file inside there. Let's try and navigate to our tags. And as you can see, everything is displayed just fine. So let's quickly upload also the nav.php that from the folder that we have downloaded, the part 3, and replace the existing nav that you have now. So let me open this. Come on, let me open this here. I will grab everything, copy it, close the local file, and open the file from the project. So it is components and nav.php. Okay, so let's refresh, and you should see the menu on the left have been changed. Actually, I added the projects button and the tags button, so now we can easily navigate here. So okay, let's go now to one-to-many relationships. Let's open our projects.php file. Let's go at the very bottom. So we can actually copy all of these user options that we have created. And let's go a little bit underneath. And let's say that now we want to create our tags relations. So, because this field does not exist inside the schema of our data, of our projects table, we actually can create the field that we can name it as we like. It doesn't really matter. So let's name it tags. Let's rename the label, make it also tags. Let's make it required. Whenever you want to store your relational data in a separate table, we can specify as a type either multi-select or checkboxes. Okay, so other types, for now at least, they don't support this this option. Most likely you will get an error. So let's say that we will use multi-select. Now the relation will be, we will not have the table as it is, or will, yeah, no, this we keep as it is. So we just change our fields. So we have table, the primary key will be TID, the display of course will be TName, so we remove the second part, order by TName, and order as ID. So far so good. So what we have to add here to make it work with our third table, that is the relational table projects underscore tags, we have to define this table inside here by saying save table, so the table that will be storing these relations, and provide the name of the table. So it will be project project underscore tags. Then we have to specify the parent field, so the parent column. What I mean by current column, which what is the main ID that we try to store there, the relation for. So it is the project ID, right? So the tags will be child IDs because there are many, and project ID will be the parent ID, or at least this is how we will call it. We will name it here between us so that we can understand what's going on. So let's say parent parent field will be our, let's check what is the parent field, project tags structure. So we will have the project pt underscore. So as you might have noticed, I'm always prefixing my column names with the initials of each word of the table name. So for example, here we have project tags. Therefore, the prefix for all the table for all the columns inside this table will be pt underscore, and then the value, the name of the column that I want to add. So in this way, I'm avoiding the name collisions when we are doing automated joins. So let's go back to our project, and our parent field is our pt underscore project ID. Now I will copy the parent field and I will change it to child field, and the child field will be the tag ID. Okay, so let's save this. So in comparison to one-to-one relation options, basically the difference is these three fields, these three values here. So the save table, so we have to define in which table we will save these external relationships, the parent field and the child field. So let's see how it will work, and let's go to our project file again, project page again. Let's refresh. Yeah, of course nothing happened, so let's go and edit actually a project. So let's go at the very bottom, and what you will see here is actually is everything working fine here? Yeah. So the multi-select field that I have created actually uses the select2.js library, so that it to help us display the tags in a better way. So you can play yourself afterwards with a CRUD core file and either remove it or use another library of your choice. You can, yeah, of course you can remove it and indeed use the native multi-select that of HTML. So let's add some values here. So we have now 3 of them. Let's click update, and our project was successfully updated, and of course the tags are now in the place. Let's see what happens, what has happened in our project tags. So you will see that our parent ID, project ID, has been defined with the ID of the project that we were editing. So it was the project 1 with ID of 1, and the tags IDs, which are 3, 2, and 6. So if we go and change now some of them, so let's say we leave the MySQL and we will add PHP here. I will click update. So let's say the MySQL, I believe it is the ID of 6. So you will see that the ID of the tag that was not removed will not be changed, because the way CRUD works on the back, in the background, I don't just force to delete all of the existing tags and then create and just so that we can just replace them with the new values that we have posted. No, the way it works, it looks for the differences between existing values and the new values that we want to provide, and replaces or deletes only the ones that must be deleted or replaced. So now what you will see is that this row here will remain the same, this will be deleted, and one new row will be added. So let's see if that's true. Yeah, so our MySQL tag has remained as it is, and the PHP tag was added. And of course, if we will go and let me check. So if we go and remove now everything, actually I don't remember if I have checked this. Let's update it. Yeah, of course, because it is a required field, we cannot remove it now. We cannot submit an empty field. So if we will go to our controller and field tags, we will unset the required, or we will set it to false. Let's refresh this. So now let's remove both tags, update. Okay, so array diff is not an array. So this is something that I did not test. Okay, so let's fix it now. Let's go to CRUD core. Which line was the error? So line 260. Jump 260. Okay, so this is where we compare the existing values with the new values and the new values with the old values. So now what happened, because the new relations, so the new relations are the values that are being submitted at this moment. The new relations are empty, so, and they are not an array of fields. That's why we got this error. Let's say new relations equals new relation equals, let's say, is if is array, then let's pass the new, let's leave the new relations as it is. Else, let's just pass an empty array. I think this will do the trick for us. So let me check, refresh, continue. Yes, it looks like it worked. So what we have to see in our database now, it is an empty project tags table. And it is indeed. So, as I said, we have two options to define the way the way we want the fields to be displayed. So we have the multi-select and the checkboxes. So let's go to our projects.php. I'm wondering if existing relations, yeah, so existing relations is always an array, even if there will be no prior values in the database. By default it will be an empty array, so we will not have a problem here in this on these two lines. Okay, so let's go to our projects.php file, and instead of the type multi-select, let's say it will be checkboxes. What you will see here is our checkboxes that of course also work the same way, and we can remove everything. So, and one extra option that checkboxes accept is the inner class. So by the inner class, I mean, if you want to style them, like to be side by side, we can also use the Bootstrap classes there. So if I will inspect this, you will see that by default, all the checkboxes have call -12 class assigned to them. So what we can do here is, where is the project? Here it is. So there is one extra option specifically for checkboxes, inner class. So in the inner class, we can say, we can give any class we want. So let's say I will give call 6 by default, and on the large screens or actually up until the small ones. Let's give it a call SM3. Okay, don't forget the comma at the end. Refresh, and this is what you will get. So I believe it is quite useful, especially for the tags, because I remember me myself wondering this in one of my projects. So to have these automations make our lives much easier. And of course, another very important thing is, are these fields searchable? And let's actually test it. So if we go to our projects and we will add, remember the tags field that we have removed from our columns inside the index method. So let's go here and say tags. Refresh the page, projects page, and as you can see, our tags are being displayed now here. So if we go and say CodeIgniter, it is indeed searching for the CodeIgniter tag, and you can use it with all the other fields. So what else should we say in this tutorial before we wrap up? Let's try and add actually another. So let's say MySQL Cake, also CodeIgniter. Let's update it. Let's go back to project. So just for you to see, if we type CodeIgniter, of course we get both results back. Or if we type Cake, we will get only one result back. So the good thing also is that, of course, all of the tags that we have defined are considered as searchable keywords. So we can search by any of them. Actually, this part was quite a challenging one when I was creating this code, and actually that's why this video was a little bit delayed to be recorded. But the good thing is that now it is ready to be used. If you will find any bugs, please let me know. I'm sure there are bugs because I didn't have plenty of time to test all the stuff. So one of the known bugs for me is actually the pagination. So the pagination does not work when we perform a search. So for example, if we go to let's search for Alberto. As you can see, the pagination on purpose I have removed it when we perform a search because it doesn't make any difference. The problem is that our search form is a post, uses a post method. If you have any idea of how we can maintain the post table so that we can avoid adding our search parameters inside of the URL, so that we can use it with a get variable. If you have any ideas how we can do that, please let me know. Otherwise, if I will not come with another idea, I guess we will have to change the search form, and we will make it a get form, get method form. Let's wrap this video on this note, and actually in the next video what I'm planning to do. So I think we have to create also a file upload field type, also in a similar way, one-to-one file upload. So for example, our project will have one file uploaded inside the same table. Okay, so let's say like a featured image, or to create also a separate table to store multiple images for one entity. So something similar to project tags. And so this is for the next video what I'm thinking. And the fifth part also would be interesting to see how we can create modular parts of each form. So how we can grab, how we can create a page and just say that in this part of the page we want the form from the projects to be added. In this part of the page we want to add the tags, let's say tags forms. So this is the ideas that I'm working now in my head. So just brainstorming. I don't know if this will be like the exact order of the videos, but it is the order that I have in my mind for now, at least. So guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and see you in the next tutorial. Bye bye.